If you are a single parent who's feeling nervous or confused or concerned about entering the complex world of dating again, you are certainly not alone. But should you worry? Dating coach Timmy Gibson is here with some tips for you. And Timmy, you say, don't worry about it, but it won't be all smooth.
Right. No, it can be challenging when you are limited on your time anyway. And sometimes that guilt can enter in, like, I don't want to be away from my kids. But, you know, it's important to take time for yourself.
What do you tell single parents who come to you and say they feel like they're somehow betraying their children or their teenagers by going out on dates again?
Oh, I always say, listen, you have to take care of yourself. Yeah. And yes, as a single parent, your kids are your priority. But, you know, I was told early on when my wife and I first got married before we had kids that don't let kids run your life, you run your kids' life.
Right.
And that was very good advice to us to always remember, don't revolve our lives around the kids. Our kids will revolve their lives around us.
Yeah.
And so we kept going on vacations, we kept doing things together. And so, you know, when you're a single parent, the challenge is it is just you and the kids, and you're feeling this feeling of, I need to make all these sacrifices for them at the expense of myself. And there's a balance there. How
much information do you give your child or your teenager if you're back in the dating world? And at what
Not
point,
very much.
Do you even tell them you're going on a date?
You know, I mean, they can know that, especially if they're in an age where they can understand it. But I don't believe that the kids are really need to be a part of that process until it gets serious. When it's serious and maybe you've met someone and you're seeing this person and it's like, no, this is more than just casual dating, this might get serious, like between us, then that's when the kids can kind of be brought in, because you don't want to bringing all these different people into the kids' lives, in and out, in and out, in and out, and the kids. I think that can be too
There's already been an instability.
Yeah, I think that creates more insecurity.
Some sort of instability, so that would cause some bonding things, you think?
I think
and
so.
Some nervousness. As far as practical tips go, how do you find the time and the childcare? If you're a single parent, you're barely making it out of the house.
Right.
From what I hear from my other girlfriends who are single parents, you're barely making it out of the house with your shoes on, let alone finding time to go out on a date on a Friday or Saturday.
Right. That's the biggest challenge, because I work with a lot of singles, and a lot of them are parents too.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge that they find is how to make it happen in their already hectic, busy lives. So one of the practical things I always tell single parents is, listen, you have other single parents that are friends, so why don't you guys trade off?
Okay.
I'll watch your kids this weekend so you can go out, and next weekend I'll watch your kids, and so you just trade back and forth. And that way it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
You're helping them out and they're helping you out, and it creates this community too, and a bond, and you're sharing, and plus the kids get to interact with other kids. And I mean, I think it's and they start doing that, and they've called me and said, oh, that was such a great idea. Thank you so much. And I went on a date and, you know, didn't have to pay for childcare. And
I was reading this article recently, and I wanted to hear your take on it. It was a child psychologist that had said we are overusing the titles aunt and uncle. Yeah. So like someone will introduce their new boyfriend or say, call him Uncle John, or this is Uncle Bill, or like someone introduces their best friend, like that's Aunt Janet. And it creates this false sense of familiarity.
Yes.
What's the danger in that, and do you agree with that? I
agree with that. I think you do have to be careful because there can be that extra sentimental value in, oh, Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so. And then if you have hundreds of uncles and hundreds of aunts, and again, it's the whole pulling away. It's where did Uncle Joe go? He was here and now he's gone.
Right.
And so that can be kind of hurtful and damaging, I think.
What do you tell people, this is my last question, who are dating someone with a child? What kind of boundaries do they need to set up as far as not being too affectionate or too giving to the child in case it doesn't work out with the person you're dating?
Yeah, you have to respect the fact that they're a single parent first, and be understanding of the difficulties that they face as a single parent, not only with the ex and that situation, but also just their time and wanting to protect their child. I mean, I coach a lot of singles that don't have kids, and I say, because they've said, hey, listen, I date people with children. And I say be very respectful of that, be very understanding, be very supportive. Don't ever give them grief about them loving and caring for their kids, because that is their priority.
The best gift you can give that child, too, is respecting the boundaries
Absolutely.
of the parent. Dating coach and life coach Timmy Gibson, thank you.
Thanks.
Here's an odd